you want an exposure to a market or an
Everything they need in one place.
Be the world's foremost authority on
Individuals, advisors and institutions.
Hello and welcome. Today I've got the pleasure to be sitting with Dr. Mark Mobius of Franklin Templeton, one of the most well-known emerging markets experts. So you've been investing in emerging markets for almost 30 years. So you've experienced different market phases as a fund manager. Today there are a lot of questions regarding the risks in emerging markets due to slowing growth. Besides, if one reads the newspapers today, all you will see is bad news on Africa, Middle East situation, Eastern Europe. How do you evaluate those risks and the condition of emerging markets with this uncertainty and even fear of what might happen?
Right. Well, first of all, you have to remember that emerging markets now are growing at double the rate of the developed countries. And this has been true for the last 20 years.
Sure.
It's only been a few years, like during the Asian financial crisis, when you had a slowdown in emerging markets. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when you look at the performance of emerging markets since 1987, when we started, outperform every market, every developed market. However, in the last 11 years, there have been 4 years when the emerging markets underperformed. And that's true for the last 2 years, 2013, 2014. Now that scares a lot of people because people say, wait a minute, I expected emerging markets to do so well, now not doing so well. But this year, since the beginning of this year, emerging markets are outperforming again. So what they do, investors tend to focus on the headlines and say, God, Boko Haram in Nigeria, oh, what a terrible thing.
Scary.
I'm not going to go to Nigeria. We're investing in Nigeria, we're making money. Because the banks, as a result of Boko Haram, the prices came down, we bought stock, and now they're coming up again. So any crisis that you have presents an opportunity.
Okay, and if you take a look of the global market capitalization today, emerging markets is about, I'm talking about the stock market capitalization. Yes. Emerging markets are about 13%. But the GDP of emerging markets count for about 40%. So how long do you expect this discrepancy to last, and what would be the trigger to close it?
That's a very good point you made, because it is true, if you look at the index companies, emerging markets represent 13%. But if you look at the total amount of market capitalization globally, actually emerging markets are 30%. And if you look at, for the last 10 years, new stocks coming into the markets globally, IPOs and so forth, 33% was emerging markets. So you're absolutely right, 40% is GDP. The stock market capitalization is coming up now to about 30%, and we believe that's going to continue. You're going to see expansion, because China now alone, since the beginning of last year, have had 200 plus new IPOs, and billions of dollars have been raised as a result of that. So you're going to see an expansion of the market capitalization.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Mobius.
Thank you.
Thank you. For Morningstar, Valerio Baselli. Thanks for watching.